We are a Sri Lankan bank. This is our home. That's why we are committed towards the future of this country, funding national development initiatives, because we believe in banking beyond transactions. HNB, your partner in progress.
Welcome to Lmd Tv. I'm Andrea Melissa. With the pandemic sweeping the globe, causing much concern and in some cases widespread panic, there are predictions of an impending global economic crisis that could threaten livelihoods. As countries concentrate on battling the COVID-19 virus, a shutdown across industries could have serious detrimental implications for a cross-section of our economy. With this in mind, over the course of the next few weeks, Lmd TV will focus on the economic impact of this health crisis. In today's show, Anushan Selvaraja speaks with the Secretary General of the National Chamber of Exporters, Shiham Marikar, along with the CEO of LAUGFS Supermarkets, Lilanthi, Herath.
Welcome to the show, Shiham.
Thank you very much for having me on board.
Now, to start off with, how has the pandemic impacted our export sector?
With regards to the exporters, the effect the exporters are facing, you could call it a double shock. Because on one side, the exporters cannot produce, and on the other side, there are no buyers. Now, we have to keep in mind that around 190 countries around the world has been affected, right? And most of these countries have been buying from Sri Lanka. We have been exporting to them. So even if we recover fully, until those countries settle down or until they recover, we won't be able to export. So that is a very huge problem. And also to mention, even after those countries settle down, after they recover, they will have their own interest. So Sri Lankan exporters need to plan out our strategies should be completely different. It will be a post-COVID era. So there are a lot of work to be done by the Sri Lankan exporters. But to answer your question directly, Sri Lankan exporters are facing a double shock. We cannot produce and we don't have buyers.
What about on a national level then? Has enough been done to safeguard our exporters, especially the small and medium scale exporters?
Well, since nobody expected something like this, it is not that easy to find direct solutions when you have problems of this nature. However, we have to commend the government and the Triforces, the medical staff, for taking things under control. And I think we should be very happy as Sri Lankans that our country is one of the most safest places under the circumstances. But the government has, through the central bank, they have come out with some financial packages for the business community. And we know that our member exporters have already applied to get some of these funds. There are funds given for operations, and also the central bank is going to refinance the commercial banks. But you see, what our members are saying is, it all comes down to how this is going to materialize. I mean, even though there are packages that have been suggested, now if you look at the central bank package where they are willing to refinance the commercial banks, but this question here is that the commercial bank will have to take all the risk. So what kind of collateral are they going to ask from the business community? If you take SME, will he be able to cater to those collaterals that they are going to ask? So until this money filter down to these businesses, it's very difficult for us to say whether this particular package has really materialized and whether some benefit has come out of this. So we have to wait and see.
Then what steps has the NCE taken to mitigate the problems that the export sector might face?
Well, we have in fact partnered with Ernst & Young. Actually, they are our knowledge partner. And we have set up a help desk where our member exporters can use their services to process their applications with regards to obtaining some of these funds that is given by the government. So this service in terms of advisory, helping them how to make the proposals, this service will be provided by the chamber in partnership with Ernst & Young. Apart from that, we have also upgraded our online platform. I mean, we did start issuing digital certificate of origin 3 years ago, and there are many members who are using that service. But since the recent lockdown and all those things are happening, most of the other members also have come on board. So our future services to our members will be done through online platform. So we are working very closely, and we are actually working with other stakeholders also to improve our services in this area. Apart from that, we are also conducting a lot of surveys to identify what are the main issues our members are facing and the solutions, short-term and long-term solutions. These are the things we are doing right now. And commencing from the month of May onwards, there will be a series of webinars that we will be carrying out. One series of webinars will be with Ernst & Young, where they will talk to our member companies on how they should start, budgeting, and how they should plan their future finances, what kind of cost cutting they should be doing. So these kind of programs will be done during the month of May and June. And also we are in touch with almost 15 to 20 Sri Lankan missions overseas, where we will be inviting either the ambassador, the high commissioner, or the trade councillor to talk to our members on that particular country market situation, so that our members could prepare accordingly. Because we must remember, after all these things, I mean, this problem may go on for 12 months or even 24 months. And whatever the Sri Lankan exporters have been exporting before may have to be slightly adjusted or changed.
On a different note then, Shiham, what would be the risks moving forward?
Well, you see, Sri Lanka, we had an export target of almost 20 billion for this year. Now the Export Development Board has reduced this to 7 billion. And also a couple of days ago, we saw a statement by the EDB chairman asking exporters should now start working. I think, see, the export developer, the chairman, he being exporter, he has realized how important it is for us to start our production or start business. We should be in the game now. If you look at a country like Spain, who is still affected, I was watching news yesterday, they have already started their business activities. So in terms of construction, they have started, and also in their export production. So we need to commence work. Only when we commence work, we will get to know the real issues that we are going to face and what we are facing right now.
Shiham, considering we depend on a lot of raw material imports for a large swathe of our export products, with the globe going into virtual shutdown mode, why is it that we have not upped our game in terms of R&D? Shouldn't we be looking for alternative materials?
Well, see, we all know that in Sri Lanka, even if you talk about the export sector, when it comes to R&D, we have been lagging a lot. And we have been talking to our members, we have been working with other stakeholders, getting them together and to get them involved in R&D. And even whenever the national country budget proposals are made, we do approach them and ask for additional funding with regards to R&Ds. So I don't think Sri Lankan exporters have got themselves involved in R&D activities that much. But now moving forward, I think this will be a wake-up call, and many companies will get involved in R&D. I think we should even get our universities, maybe organizations like SLINTEC, the National Science Foundation. We have to get together.
Then what about employment in the sector? Because a lot of large companies have called for cutbacks and wage cuts, not necessarily speaking about letting people go per se. But what about this probable eventuality?
Well, with regards to that, actually, we also did a survey among our members, and there are different views coming out of our membership. Because see, when you talk about laying off staff or salary cuts, these are sensitive subjects. Now, there are some members who are saying that they could sustain their businesses for the next 2 or 3 months because they have saved up for a rainy day. But then when you look at a larger company with a huge workforce, it's understood. You know, one of their top expenses will be manpower cost. How can they survive without orders coming in? And also keeping in mind, there are many of our member companies who have told us that their orders after producing has been cancelled just by an email. Now, what are we going to do about them? So they have huge cash flow problems. So if a company, I think many of our members, their view is that if a company has to take on a decision like cutting down staff or cutting salaries, this is something they should do within their company walls, where they discuss with their staff, keeping in mind the labor laws, because Sri Lanka, there is a very strong labor law. So we need to look into that. And of course, make the appropriate decision, looking at both sides. Because right now, even for a worker, it's a difficult situation. How can he survive if he's put out? Down staff should be a last option. Because even if you cut down staff now, And then if things work out well later, after 3 months time, getting those staff back or getting new staff and training them, that is also going to be additional cost. So I think we need to look at all these areas. And it's very difficult to say that all companies should follow a set of rules. You know, it will be different to each sector, different to depending on the size of the company. SMEs may have a set of problems with the big companies don't have. So it's a very difficult situation. That's why we need to start work. Then only we will know the exact level of problems or the issues that we are facing. Then we can deal with them accordingly.
Any final thoughts then, Shiham, on how the export sector should move forward?
Well, I think we should follow what the Export Development Board said. That see, we should start working. We should get to our officers, start, because when you say work from home, there are a lot of limitations. But when you go to the office and start working, then only the real thing is happening. So I think we need to start work. But of course, we need to make sure that the health and safety precautions, as per the rules and regulations by the government, has to be met for the benefit of all Sri Lankans.
Thank you very much for joining us, Shiham.
Most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Up next, we take a look at the retail sector after this short word from our sponsors.
We are a Sri Lankan bank. This is our home. That's why we are committed towards the future of this country, funding national development initiatives, because we believe in banking beyond transactions. HNB, your partner in progress.
Welcome back to the show. Now we'll take a look at the retail sector, and joining us is the CEO of LAUGFS Supermarkets, Lilanthi Herath. Welcome to the show, Lilanthi. Now, how has the pandemic impacted the retail sector?
Well, COVID-19 has impacted the entire world, irrespective of which business or industry you're in. And the sudden changes, such as curfew in Sri Lanka, affected Sri Lankans in an extreme level without any relevance to its status, social status. So I think all this made us rethink about our business model.
So how has LAUGFS in that case managed this period?
Yes, we understand that with curfew people are unable to walk around. So we realized that online platforms would be the best way forward, apart from some of the other business modules we wanted to introduce. And online shopping was initiated and mobilized immediately because we already had an available online platform. And then, apart from online platforms, we also realized that with curfew passes available for essential services, home deliveries would also be one of the models to serve our customers. And based on the data available with our LAUGFS One loyalty card, we used social media and all the marketing tools online to promote our both business models, one being the online platform and the other one mobile supermarketing and home deliveries.
Lilanthi, what are your thoughts on the import ban? How is this going to affect you?
Well, we are predominantly depending on imports in Sri Lanka, and this will pose initial inconvenience to all concerned. And it has also affected the conventional business model to a very great extent. But I believe we can utilize this opportunity to create a very positive impact towards strengthening our supply chain and encourage Sri Lankans to go back to our once thriving agriculture and entrepreneurial industries. And I think we have very fertile soil in Sri Lanka. And if authorities can plan backward supply chain integration at an industrial scale, we can be self-contained in the near future and not depend on import to a great extent. So I believe we have a positive outcome if we capitalize on this situation.
With what you have seen so far, what do you think would be the risks going forward?
Well, the retail sector will face very many challenges simply because it's this issue is a health-related disaster, and managing the public health as well as our outlet staff health is an intertwined challenge. I suppose we need to strike a balance and educate our staff, especially on how to manage a risky situation like this. And I think very soon we will face, hopefully we will start normal life soon.
Any thoughts on if the country can recover from this?
We will. We are a very resilient nation, and I've been through a very tough. We have all been through this tough time of the war, and I mean, we have gone through tougher times, and we will come out of this situation. And already, I think we are far ahead of the rest of the world in regulating this disaster. So we will definitely come out of it. I believe if we listen to the authorities who talk about how to eliminate, how to get rid of this, and how we can protect ourselves, we will without any issue.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lilanthi.
Thank you very much.
That was our show for this week. Joining next week at the same time. I'm Anshan Selvaraja, and thank you for watching Lmd TV.
We are a Sri Lankan bank. This is our home. That's why we are committed towards the future of this country, funding national development initiatives, because we believe in banking beyond transactions. HNB, your partner in progress.